Good morning, children. Now, we were doing P block elements, and today we are going to start with group 17 of the P block elements. Now, let me take out group 17. Group 17 of the P block elements. Now, group 17 comprises of elements like fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astatine. Now, these elements are actually together, they are known as halogens. They are collectively known as halogens. Halogens means these are salt producing. Halogens, the word means salt producing. These are known as salt producing because most of the salts are found in the form of fluorides, chlorides, bromides, iodides, etc. These halogens, these are very reactive in nature, and they are all non-metallic elements. They show quite similarity amongst themselves, and this type of similarity is not seen in any other group of the periodic table. Now, about occurrence, one thing more. Astatine is a radioactive element. It is the only radioactive element in this group. Now, the occurrence. Fluorine and chlorine are quite abundantly found in nature. They are found in the form of minerals like calcium fluoride. Calcium fluoride is known as fluorspar, CaF2. Calcium fluoride is fluorspar, CaF2. Then we have this is calcium fluoride. Then we have fluorapatite, which is 3 calcium phosphate, not calcium fluoride. And then we have what you call fluorapatite. Then this is also found in bones and teeth. Bones and teeth. Fluorine is also found in bones and teeth. Then in seawater we find many salts because seawater is salty. Sodium chloride, bromide, iodide, many types of salts, magnesium, bromide, etc. are found in seawater. But seawater mainly has sodium chloride. The seabed has sodium chloride. There are many marine plants also. They have a lot of iodine content in them. There are seaweeds which are rich in iodine. So bromides and iodides are less common. Compounds of fluorine and chlorine are found abundantly in nature. Then we come to the electronic configuration. Electronic configuration of these is NS2 NP5. The electronic configuration of these is NS2 NP5. So these are short of one electron. These are short of just one electron, and if they get that one electron, they will be having a configuration of a noble gas. Then we come to atomic and ionic radii. Atomic and ionic radii. Now, atomic and ionic radii, these elements, the halogens, they are the smallest in their periods. In the respective periods, these elements are the smallest in size. The atomic radii of fluorine is very small, like any group of the P block element. The first element has been found to be very small. So fluorine also here is very small, and as we move down the group, the size of the element keeps increasing. That is because a new shell is being added. Now, the ionization enthalpy, they have, since these elements, they are short of one electron, they have no tendency to lose electron. It is very difficult to remove one electron from halogens. So their ionization enthalpies are very high. and as we move down the group, the size of the element keeps increasing, and when the size keeps increasing, the ionization enthalpy decreases when we move down the group. Now what about electron gain enthalpy? Now halogens, they are short of just one electron, so they have a tendency to accept one electron and change to a inert gas configuration. Now halogens, they, as we see that the first element shows behavior which is not seen by the rest of the elements of the group. Fluorine also behaves in a similar manner. Now the electron gain enthalpy of all the elements is large on the negative side, because if it gains electron, large amount of energy is released, so electron gain enthalpies are large on the negative side, negative electron gain enthalpy. But fluorine has a smaller value. Fluorine has a large negative electron gain enthalpy, but fluorine has a smaller value. That is because of the small size of fluorine atom. There are large inter-electronic repulsions between the small sized atom. But as we move down the group, after chlorine we have bromine, then iodine. The electron gain enthalpies values keep decreasing because size of the atom is increasing. So the electron gain enthalpy values decrease down the group. Fluorine shows an exceptional behavior. It should have the largest value of electron gain enthalpy, but it has been found that it has a small value of electron gain enthalpy. Then we have chlorine, which has a large negative value of electron gain enthalpy, and after chlorine this value keeps decreasing. In fluorine, the value of electron gain enthalpy is small because of the small size of fluorine atom. There are large inter-electronic repulsions. Then coming to the electronegativity, these elements are highly electronegative in nature. Group 17 elements all are electronegative in nature. They have high electronegativity. But as we move down the group, the electronegative character keeps decreasing. Now coming to the physical properties. Now halogens, these are, if you look at these halogens, fluorine and chlorine are in the gas state. Bromine is a dark brown colored liquid, reddish brown, and iodine is a solid. So their physical states differ, gas, then liquid also, and then solid also. Fluorine and chlorine react with water. Fluorine and chlorine, they react with water. Whereas bromine and iodine, they are sparingly soluble in water, but these are soluble in organic solvents. Now the question is, fluorine is yellowish in color. All are colored. Chlorine is greenish yellow in color. Bromine is reddish brown, and iodine is violet in color. All of these in the gas state, they show color. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine are all colored. Now the question is, why do they show different colors? Before that, why is there color in these gases? Why are these gases colored? Now when the valence electron, the electron present in the outermost shell, when it absorbs radiation in the visible region, it is excited to a higher energy level. It absorbs one particular color, the complementary color is seen. For example, fluorine, it absorbs violet color and therefore it appears to be yellowish in color. Whereas iodine, on contrary, it absorbs yellow color and therefore appears to be violet in color. Now why does fluorine absorb violet and iodine absorb yellow color? That is the question. Now fluorine is a small sized atom. Its excitation energy will definitely will be higher, because it is a small size atom. To remove the electron, to excite the electron, when the electron is getting excited to a higher energy level, it requires energy. So it will absorb those radiations which are more energetic. So it absorbs violet color, and therefore the complementary color yellow color is seen. So fluorine appears, it is yellow in color, whereas iodine, it is a large sized atom. For excitation, it requires less energy because the electron which has to be excited is present in a large atom. So those radiations are absorbed which are less energetic. So it absorbs yellow green, and therefore it appears to be violet. The complementary color is violet. That is why they give different colors. Now what about bond dissociation enthalpy? Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, these are gases, and they show different bond dissociation enthalpy. Bond dissociation enthalpy of fluorine is found to be less, but as we move down, chlorine has a higher value of bond dissociation enthalpy, then bromine, then iodine. It keeps decreasing. Now, why fluorine has a small value or a less value of bond dissociation enthalpy? It is because of the small size atom, again the electron-electron repulsion in the lone pairs of fluorine, and that is why the bond dissociation enthalpy is less. But in case of chlorine, the next element, the bond dissociation enthalpy is high. But when we move down the group, this value keeps decreasing because the size of the atoms is increasing. The bond dissociation enthalpy decreases. Bond length is increasing. So bond dissociation enthalpy keeps decreasing. Now coming to the chemical properties, oxidation states and trends in chemical reactivity. Oxidation states and trends in chemical reactivity. Now you can see that halogens, they have a configuration of NS2, NP5. Except fluorine, all have d orbitals in them. Fluorine is the only element that does not have d orbital. So fluorine will not show so many oxidation states. It shows, since it is a small atom, it shows only one oxidation state. So oxidation state of -1 is seen in case of fluorine, and fluorine, since it is the most electronegative element, it shows only this oxidation state, that is -1. But the rest of the elements, they may show an oxidation state of +1, 2, 3 and 5. +1, 3, 5 and 7. +1, +3, +5 and +7. So how are these oxidation states possible? Now in the first excited state, the p electron, the paired one, it is promoted to higher energy level, that is the d orbital. Now there are 3 unpaired electrons, so it can show an oxidation state of +3. Now in the second excited state, the second paired electrons which are present in p orbital, they get unpaired and the electron is promoted to d orbital. So now we have 5 unpaired electrons, and the 5 unpaired electrons form 5 covalent bonds. So oxidation state of +5 is seen. Now there is still one pair present in NS. Now here the electrons get unpaired and they are promoted to the d orbital, and when it is promoted to d orbital, the number of unpaired electrons is now 7. 7 unpaired electrons which results in +7 oxidation state. So there are molecules which show +7 oxidation state like IF7. There are molecules which show +5 oxidation state of the halogen atom like IF5. IF5 iodine has a +5 oxidation state. Then +3 oxidation state is seen in ICl3, and +1 oxidation state is also seen in ICl. So these show a number of oxidation states starting from -1 to +1, +3, +5 and +7. Now it has been seen that the higher oxidation state of chlorine, bromine and iodine are seen where in case of when they combine with small and highly electronegative elements like fluorine or oxygen atoms. The higher oxidation states of chlorine, bromine and iodine are seen when they combine with small and highly electronegative fluorine or oxygen atoms like in interhalogen compounds or oxides or oxo acids. So higher oxidation states are seen when they are combining with very small and highly electronegative atoms like oxygen or fluorine, etc. Now all these halogens are highly reactive. They are highly reactive. They react with metals, they react with non-metals also. Then they are short of one electron, so they readily accept one electron. And when they are accepting one electron, it means they are good oxidizing agents. Fluorine is the strongest oxidizing agent. Fluorine is the strongest oxidizing agent. And if we look at the reactions of fluorine, chlorine, bromine, etc., we can see that fluorine will react with the halide of the next halogen atom, that is chlorine or bromine or iodine, and will oxidize it into X2, you can see in this reaction. Fluorine is reacting with, suppose, chloride or bromide or iodide, and it is converting it into X2. If suppose it is reacting with NaCl, then chloride is oxidized to chlorine gas. Similarly, when we talk about chlorine, then the elements which are present below chlorine, that is bromine and iodine, their iodides, bromides and iodides, they react with chlorine, and these iodides or bromides, they are oxidized to bromine, Br2 or I2. Similar is the case with bromine reacting with an iodide. Now this decreasing oxidizing ability is quite evident with the standard electrode potentials. If we look at the values of the electrode potential, standard electrode potential, it decreases down the group, which shows that the oxidizing ability is also decreasing down the group. Now the reaction of, 1 minute. If you look at the relative oxidizing power, if you compare the oxidizing power of fluorine or bromine or iodine, you can see that in case of fluorine, when fluorine reacts with water, it oxidizes the oxygen present in water to O2. Fluorine oxidizes the oxygen present in water. Oh my God. You can see oxygen is present in water. It is oxidized to O2. Fluorine oxidizes the oxygen of water into O2. But what about chlorine and bromine? Chlorine and bromine react with water and they form hydrohalic acid. they form hydrohalic acid and hypohalous acid. HOX. Hydrohalic acid is HX and hypohalous acid is HOX. And what about iodine? Iodide, when it is reacting with oxygen in an acidic medium, the reaction is not a spontaneous one. Iodine itself gets oxidized to I2. Iodide ion gets oxidized to I2. So you can compare the oxidizing power of the halogens. Now coming to the anomalous behavior. Anomalous behavior of fluorine. Now, like the first elements of any other p block group, the first element, that is fluorine here, it shows anomalous behavior. It shows some properties in which it differs from the rest of the elements. Now, if you look at fluorine, it is a very small size atom. Its ionization energy is very high. Its electronegativity is very high. It is the element having the highest electronegativity in the periodic table. Then the electrode potential values are also very high. But what about the size? The size is very small. Size of fluorine is very small, exceptionally small. Melting point, boiling points are also low. Then bond dissociation enthalpy is low because there is a lot of electron repulsion. Bond dissociation enthalpy is also low, and electron gain enthalpies are also low. You can see electron bond dissociation enthalpy is low and electron gain enthalpies are also low. It forms only one oxo acid, while rest of the elements form many oxo acids, more than one oxo acid. But here fluorine forms only one oxo acid, that is HOF. Now the hydride of fluorine is liquid, HF, and it is in the liquid state. HF is in the liquid state. Hydride of fluorine is a liquid. It means when it is in the liquid state, since fluorine is highly electronegative in nature, there is strong hydrogen bonding, intermolecular hydrogen bonding seen between the HF molecules. So the boiling points are also high. Rest of the hydrides are not in the liquid state. They are gases. But HF, the hydride of fluorine, is a liquid with hydrogen bonding seen. Now, if you look at the hydrides, HF, HCl, HBr or HI, you can see HF, HCl, HBr or HI, they show acidic strength. All of them will show acidic strength, the hydrides, but the acidic strength acidic strength decreases. Acidic strength, as you are moving down the group, you will see the acidic strength of the hydrides increases down the group. Acidic strength increases, that is, the ease with which H plus ions are formed in water will increase when we move down the group. It means HF is the least acidic. HF is the least acidic. You can give an explanation for the poor acidity of HF. One is that it is hydrogen bonded. Strong hydrogen bonds are present between HF molecules, so H ions will not go into the solution. Then the bond dissociation enthalpy of HF, is very HF, since it is a small fluorine atom is very small, the bond dissociation enthalpy will be very high. So H ions will not be free. But as you move down the group, HCl, then HBr, then HI, the bond dissociation enthalpy decreases. It decreases Therefore, why? Because the bond strength decreases. It is easier to break the bond in case of HI. The bond dissociation enthalpy decreases as we move down the group. So it becomes easier to break the HX bond as we move down the group. Now reactivity towards oxygen. Now how do these react with oxygen? Now fluorine reacts with oxygen to form two types of compounds, OF2 and O2F2. OF2 and O2F2. We don't call it as oxide because fluorine is more electronegative than oxygen. We call them as fluorides, oxygen difluoride. So fluorine forms two oxides, OF2 and O2F2. Chlorine, bromine and iodine, they form oxides which have variable oxidation states, that is ranging from +1 to +7, ranging from +1 to +7. So many oxidation states are seen in their oxides. Now chlorine forms oxides of the type Cl2O, then ClO2 and Cl2O6 and Cl2O7. These are very good oxidizing agents. Bromine forms oxides like Br2O, BrO2, BrO3, etc. Again, they are very powerful oxidizing agents. Iodine also forms oxides like I2O4, I2O5, I2O7, etc. I2O5 is a very good oxidizing agent. Now, its reactivity towards metals. Now, halogens react with metals. They react with metals to form halides. Like magnesium is reacting with bromine. Magnesium reacts with bromine to form magnesium bromide. Now, it has been found that if a metal shows two oxidation states, for example, tin is found in two oxidation states, +2 and +4, then halide of the higher oxidation state will be covalent in nature. So SnCl4 will be covalent in nature. Or if you have PbCl4 and PbCl2, then PbCl4 will be covalent, more covalent than PbCl2. Metals, when they exhibit two oxidation state, the higher oxidation state will be more covalent than the other one. This is the observation. Then reactivity towards halogens. These halogens react amongst themselves to form different compounds, different set of compounds which are known as interhalogen compounds. They can be XX-, XX3-, XX5-, XX7-. XX- means the two halogen atoms are different. Like ICl, both are electronegative in nature. Difference is that one is more electronegative than the other. Those interhalogen compounds will be more stable, in which the difference in electronegativity is quite high. They will be more stable. So different types of interhalogen compounds are seen, and we will be studying about the interhalogen compounds in the subsequent lessons. So this is about the general properties of group 17 elements. Thank you, children.